sorry I'm so upset, but please help President Trump.
Another Fox News appearance, another Lindsey Graham meltdown.
If you can afford $5 or $10, if you can't afford $1, fine, just pray. Make sure you vote as early as you can in your state. Don't risk anything anymore. Vote as soon as you can. Pray for this country. Pray for this president. And if you got any money to give, give it. LindseyGraham.com. It doesn't go to me. It goes to helping this president and taking back the Senate.
This was the second time in a week Lindsey Graham had prostituted himself for Donald Trump and seemed to be teary-eyed over Trump's indictment.
It's duplicitous charging. They're trying to smear the guy. They're trying to take cases that nobody else would take and resurrect them. This is literally legal voodoo. DonaldJTrump.com. Go tonight, give the president some money to fight this.
Lindsey almost crying there. Almost, yes, please give. That reminded me of Oral Roberts climbing up into his tower back in the 80s saying, give me $3 million or I'm not coming down from this tower.
They're trying to bleed him dry.
Graham is even getting mocked by America's most infamous alleged murderer, O.J. Simpson.
The strangest thing I seen this past week was Lindsey Graham crying on TV, begging people to send money to a billionaire.
That millionaire, Trump, is also begging for money.
Your contribution today will show the left that nothing can destroy the greatest political movement in history.
Trump supporters have responded.
Just since news of the indictment first came out last week, the Trump campaign says it's raked in more than $5 million, Savannah. They're selling like indictment swag and merch. They're leaning into this.
But it's Lindsey Graham's emotional outbursts that seem particularly shameless and odd.
We got one last chance here to straighten this out. I just told you a Democratic president lies under oath regarding sexual matters. They're not prosecuted.
Lindsey, that Democratic president, Bill Clinton, was impeached. You were one of the House impeachment managers, remember? Clinton also paid $850,000 to settle the Paula Jones lawsuit.
A Democratic Secretary of State running for president destroys 33,000 emails under subpoena. They're not prosecuted.
A Republican FBI director looked into this in 2016, found the emails were innocuous and immaterial to the subpoenas, and concluded there was no criminal wrongdoing.
And we do have one last chance to not become a banana republic. 2024 is the most important election in my lifetime. America literally is at stake as we know it, is at stake as we know it. I'm sorry I'm so upset.
Lindsey, you are definitely upset, and in many ways, that's puzzling. Why do you care what happens to Donald Trump? You were not a fan of January the 6th. You said that Trump should get over his grievances about the 2020 election. And back in 2016, you repeatedly criticized Donald Trump.
I'm not going to try to get into the mind of Donald Trump because I don't think there's a whole lot of space there. I think he's a kook. I think he's crazy. I think he's unfit for office. And I'm a Republican, and he's not. He's not a conservative Republican. He's an opportunist.
An opportunist. Well, Lindsey, who is the opportunist now? Is your political career now so tenuous and so fragile that another Donald Trump presidency is the only thing that would keep you going? Or does Donald Trump know something about you or have something on you that keeps forcing you to be his biggest cheerleader? And is that the reason for the weepy eyes and tears? Lindsey, you might as well just be honest about it. If Donald Trump loses, you lose as well. And so you are emotional. But it's your constituents, some of whom probably see through all of this, who should be sad. You are shamefully sacrificing everybody's dignity, including your own.
President Trump continued to push the stolen election narrative, even though he and his allies knew that their litigation efforts, making the same claim, had failed. The fact that this litigation went on, well, that decision makes more sense when you consider the Trump campaign's fundraising tactics. Because if the litigation had stopped on December 14th, there would have been no fight to defend the election and no clear path to continue to raise millions of dollars.
Between Election Day and January 6th, the Trump campaign sent millions of fundraising emails to Trump supporters, sometimes as many as 25 a day. The emails claimed the, quote, left-wing mob was undermining the election, implored supporters to, quote, step up to protect the integrity of the election, and encouraged them to, quote, fight back. But as the Select Committee has demonstrated, The Trump campaign knew these claims of voter fraud were false, yet they continued to barrage small-dollar donors with emails, encouraging them to donate to something called the Official Election Defense Fund. The Select Committee discovered no such fund existed.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and Donald Trump conned his voters. Let's stop right there and let all the MAGA panty waist warriors take that in, really digest it. Because here's the thing, folks. There are about 1 million instances we can apply that very statement to. The words Donald Trump conned his voters is a simple, succinct anthem that can fully summarize his entire perverted presidency, his entire miserable political existence, and the entirety of the million moron MAGA movement. You guys got conned, you losers and you suckers.
I think there are two issues here. One, he ripped people off. And two, he used the fundraising emails as another mode to disseminate the big lie.
He is a con man, and he is a cheat.
There's plenty of evidence that Mr. Trump is a con man, a fake.
Donald Trump conned his voters by fulfilling a grand total of 0 of his stupid 2016 campaign promises. There is no GOP healthcare plan. Obamacare is not repealed or replaced, and that was day one objective. There is no border wall. The deficit was run up a mile by this moron, and congratulations, working people of America. You get to fund this corporate welfare thanks to the only thing Trump did put into law, which was his $1 trillion tax cut for the rich. Donald Trump conned his voters when he got himself off the hook on his first impeachment by convincing every last one of you to brown nose him until you suffocate him. This moron is guilty of spending every second of his political existence doing nothing but nonstop campaigning. All he cared about was his re-election, and that wasn't going to happen on the merits of his work. So in order to keep himself in a taxpayer-funded permanent golf trip, he blackmailed foreign aid for his own election bid. Donald Trump conned his voters on election night when he declared victory from within the jaws of legitimate and resounding defeat, the birth of the big lie, though it certainly had been gestating in the revolting womb of MAGA fascism for some time prior. You little cosplatriots started plotting your castle siege to save your damsel in distress, in this case being your blushing orange bride you've wed yourself to in unholy anti-American matrimony. Donald Trump conned his voters when he led a rally against democracy and bid you to siege America in the name of king, not country, while he bid you adieu and ran the other way to watch you monkeys take the fall for him from the safety of his television screen. How handy to have a stock of willing pawns to be thrown under the bus anytime justice comes your way. And then finally, Donald Trump conned his voters by continuing to fundraise to this very day on the idea that he's going to use your money to fix all the bigly wrongs done to him. He'll use your money to dig up Hugo Chavez from the grave and have him testify that he rigged the voting machines. He'll use your money to send the MyPillow guy before the Supreme Court to share his story on how he saw busloads of cyber guys stealing the election while he was soaring on a Cheeto dust high. And please tell me, why does an alleged brilliant businessman who is supposed to have more money than God need your sub-minimum wage paycheck to save his neck? My goodness, that is quite some question. Oh wait, maybe it's a con.